Joining us now in studio, however, Senate candidate for the GOP, Bob Anderson.
Well, thanks, guys, for having me on.
Welcome back to the show, Bob. It's been a while.
I know. I appreciate this.
You've been out
your
there.
station has been good to me, I will say.
Well, we're good people.
And Walter's had me on, and Jamar's had me on. So when it comes to the cities, you guys are the ones. And I got a good station down in Hastings. But other than that, I haven't been in the media much.
Ain't no other damn station worth listening to.
No, you guys are the ones.
That's right.
So I appreciate you.
Exactly. We appreciate you, Bob.
All right.
So
Thanks.
you've been out camping.
Yes,
around
we
the
have.
state.
Well, you know
Tell
what?
me about that. Why are you camping as you're out there on the campaign trail?
Greater and rural Minnesota gets neglected a lot. And it was ridiculous for us to stay here in the cities. We weren't getting any media attention except for you guys and another station. So we went out on a camping tour. We've been staying in state parks across the state. Mm-hmm. It's been an amazing experience. And we get out. We've even had campfire chats. We've gone Facebook Live. And people are out there and we're listening and learning about the issues that rural and greater Minnesota are facing. And they really appreciate a Senate candidate. Some of these towns we've been in, they've never had a Senate candidate come out. So it's been rewarding. It's been informative. And we've got a base out there that appreciate what's going on because I have such a contrast in my message compared to all the other candidates. So it's been exciting, and we're having a great time.
I would agree with that.
So instead of like door to door, were you going like camper to camper?
Yeah, well, we stay in the parks, and then we go in, and I'll tell you, it's like two different states. When you get out in rural and greater Minnesota, the media is unbelievable. They let me in on the newspapers, they let me in on the radio stations, even TV. So I've gotten a lot of exposure out there, and a lot of people out in greater and rural know about Bob Anderson. Yeah. And we got a big following out there, and I think we're going to surprise a lot of people.
When we were doing prep for the show this morning, I thought about Bob Anderson.
I like that, John.
Bob Anderson came to mind when I saw a couple of stories. One of them from Channel 5, no presidential endorsements yet in key Minnesota, Wisconsin races. Now, that made me laugh a bit because of the fact that President Donald Trump hadn't offered any endorsements, but they still went and decided to make a story out of the fact that he hadn't offered any endorsements.
Well,
he's having an impact regardless.
Exactly. Well, I came to the party because of Donald J. Trump, and it's tough cracking into the Republican Party. I was an independent. Actually, I get more pushback from the Republican Party than I do from the Democratic Party because I've been involved in some debates with them. But I am a Trumper. I'm not going to pander. I'm not going to run away from him. I'm a believer in him, and it was difficult down in the farm issues because there was the tariffs and things that are happening. There's a lot of anxiety and a lot of uncertainty. I'm not going to waver. I still believe in the long run he's going to come through for us. I'm confident, and I know that he would appreciate a Senate candidate like myself out there helping him move his America First agenda forward because we've had two obstructionists, and I can't count on Karen Housley to be the one because she's got a record in the Senate. I don't. I come from the private sector, and if you looked at my website, you'll see the things that separate me from any candidate. I'm not accepting a pension when I go to the U.S. Senate. We're supposed to go and serve. We're not supposed to go there for a career. We've got enough financial problems in this country. We don't need to be giving pensions out to senators and Congress people. The other thing is insurance premiums. We've gotten no relief in Minnesota. You know that. I've been a business owner. I've had to pay for my employers, my employees and our families. There's no relief. That reinsurance bill that the legislation passed, that's not doing us any favors. That's putting us as the bailout mechanism in case private insurance companies don't meet their numbers. I want more competition in Minnesota, and I wouldn't have been opposed to opening Minnesota Care up to all eligible Minnesotans. I want
now that's
options.
An issue where you kind of stray from.
Yes, exactly. They call me a socialist in the Republican Party, but I'm a hybrid candidate. My message resonates
like
across the board.
Candidates.
Yeah. Well, you have to represent all Minnesotans, and when you have to feel the pain like I've had to, and you guys have had to, it's a big problem, especially in farmers. They would like to have some affordable options too. They're not getting it from our state legislature. I'm happy to be an outsider. I'm glad I don't have that voting record, and that's why Karen won't debate me. She has to face that.
Would you say you would go so far as to endorse a single-payer health care?
No, absolutely not. I want options. The public option was, I think, one of the biggest shortfalls of the Affordable Care Act was there's no public option to compete with the private insurance. What's the incentive to bring down premiums for all of us when they're giving federal subsidies to only private insurance companies? Those could have been used for Minnesota Care. We could have even gotten a waiver. We were supposed to be experimental labs as states, and we could have come up with an asset in Minnesota that would be an affordable plan for all Minnesotans, full-time Minnesotans, because I think we need it. It would be a great thing for all Minnesotans, and that's what I'm going to do is represent all Minnesotans. And the other thing is that term limits. I am the only candidates that's signing a pledge to maximum terms.
Why?
Because
what if the people of Minnesota want you to serve?
Then I'm going to have somebody on my
people of Minnesota.
That's a good
Bob
sign.
Anderson goes to Senate and does such an extraordinary job.
We want more Bob
Star
Anderson.
Tribune endorsements, helps turn Minnesota red, and then your third term comes around and the people are pleading, Bob Anderson,
you know
we
what?
need you in the Senate.
Exactly.
And
that's why I'm going to have somebody on my staff that is going to be with me finding out what's working. If our agenda and the president's agenda is working, they're going to be the one I'm going to push to get there and win the re-election, because I'm going to spend some time with my kids and my grandkids. I'll be close to 70. Believe me, I will do this. I will break the mold. And you know what? People are sick and tired of status quo, and you're seeing it. That's why we have President Donald J. Trump. I'd love to be out there as a reinforcement, because he's got 2 obstructionists in Minnesota. We could change the balance of the country. Jim Newberger can take out Amy Klobuchar. I could take out Tina Smith, because I offer such a contrast in that race. And I don't see anybody else that's offering the same contrast that I do that can walk across and bring all the same types of voters that Donald J. Trump brought. Because it wasn't because of the Republican Party that he won, or almost won. It was because of common sense Democrats, independents, and people are just sick and tired of what we've had going on.
You absolutely do provide a contrast.
I do. Thank you. I appreciate that. And that's something that we need.
Totally, 100% agree. I've seen you, this is going to be an odd question, but it's something I've been wanting to ask you for a while. I've seen you've been using the hashtag Bob Bites Back for some time now. Can you explain to me who you're biting and why? I'm fighting the establishment every inch of the way, but I am a dental technician. I come from the trades. I make things for a living, so I know what we're going through out there. So that Bob bites back because from the dental part of it. That is resonating. And, you know, I'll be a huge advocate for the trades, because people talk about that now, about vocational education. No, that's the life I've lived. I took an alternate path. I became a dental technician. We have a family business. It's been around 60 years. I know what it takes to produce a product. But I'll tell you one thing. I got not a lot of new empathy for farmers, because we're in a controlled environment producing our product. Even though our prices is a race to the bottom, they have to deal with weather. They have to deal with these tariffs. There's a lot of anxiety and uncertainty. So it's tough being a big pro-Trumper out there. But I still believe in the long run he's going to open up new avenues, and it's going to be better off for all Minnesotans and all Americans.
The other story that made me think of Bob Anderson this morning when I was doing prep was out of KARE 11. They talk about the Trump effect and whether or not it will affect the primary coming up next week. And there was one political science professor, Larry Jacobs, says that essentially Trump has already had his effect on the state. Do you think that's the case? Do you think Trump, without weighing in on any endorsements yet, has had an impact, maybe not so much on your race, but on the races as a whole leading into next week?
Well, I think he hasn't endorsed anybody significantly in Minnesota, because he knows I'm the Trumper guy in this state, and I didn't get the endorsement. But this endorsement process, you know, I'm a delegate myself. I participated in the caucus, and I just think it's too small of a sliver of people that are making the decisions in our general election candidates, and it's all about the whole state has an opportunity. And I've been encouraging people for these primaries on August 14th, get out and vote, even if they don't like Bob Anderson. We've got the Attorney General's race, the governorship, the Secretary of State. We got some very important races, and we've got to exercise our right. Get out and vote. It doesn't cost you anything, a little bit of time, but you can make a difference. And especially in a primary, we don't typically have the huge turnout like we do in the general. I think we're going to see a huge turnout. I think that what I've heard already is the absentee voting and early voting is way up. So
yes, I've heard that as well.
I think it's an exciting opportunity to put an outsider in there. There's only 2 years left on this seat, because I'm running for the one that Al Franken stepped down from. Mm-hmm. What a better opportunity to try an outsider like Bob Anderson. You're not putting me on the Supreme Court. It's 2 years. If I don't live up to my expectations, vote me out.
Does this 2-year term count as one of your 2 terms?
Yes, it does. So I'd have an 8-year term.
So you would only run for the 2-year and then one more.
I want to earn the respect of the voters that say Bob Anderson did what he said he was going to do. We're going to give him a 6-year term. You don't have to spend all that money.
I think Drew's turning a corner over here. I think you're getting. I think Drew's about to bite back.
Oh, I know. That's typical reaction with Bob Anderson.
Just don't overbite.
No,
you are
he does. Yeah,
you are an outsider.
Yes, I am, and I'm proud of that fact.
Clear. You are also an underdog.
Yes, I am. I like the underdog.
So what are your expectations going into Tuesday's primary?
I think we're going to surprise a lot of people.
What does that mean?
It's a kind of a wild card.
Win?
Well, that's what my plan is. I think greater and rural Minnesota is going to make a huge impact in this election. They get out and vote, and they know about Bob Anderson, because they've been very. It's been refreshing, to be honest with you. You go out there and they don't care about the candidate, they care about letting you get your message out to the people and let the voters decide. It's a disservice to the voters for this primary. They haven't even seen us debate. I mean, really, we should have had a debate before the endorsement process. We should have had a debate after. We've had none. At least the governor candidates have agreed to do 3 debates. Why can't Karn agree to a debate with Bob Anderson? I'm a dental technician, for God's sake.
Yeah, just a dental technician.
Yes, come on now. They underestimate people in the private sector.
Threatening everybody with biting.
Exactly.
I don't know that I'd want to debate you either.
I know. Well, here's the deal. That dental experience has taught me a lot about life.
I have a request. If you win, Bob Anderson,
yes.
if you win in your victory speech when you get up there, the first thing I want you to say is Bob bit back.
I definitely will, John.
We bit back.
That will be no problem because everybody out there, especially in greater and rural, knows Bob bites back.
We bit back.
Yes.
You have a website, anything you want to
Yes, Bob Anderson for Senator, BobAnderson2018.com. Please check it out. Look at our tour that we've done in the campaign. You'll see how many places we've been. You'll be shocked in the media. And I will just say, take a look. And even if you don't like Bob, get out there and vote in these primaries. It's too critical of a time in the state and in our country, too. So let's make a difference. And I really appreciate you guys giving me this opportunity today, too, because you are doing your part. You're letting me get my message out. That's all a candidate should really ask for. And
Bob Anderson, you are a joy to have on the show. And if you win on Tuesday, please plan on stopping by and paying us a visit on Wednesday, okay?
You can definitely count on that.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.
All right, coming up, gun control becomes speech control.